Alright, how's it going? It appears to be David Hoare. Happy Ash Wednesday? What are you giving up for Lent this year? For Lent, I'm giving up going outside. And taking up Satanism. Go Satan! I'm going to tell you a story. Stories that keep David awake at night. When I was 17, I went to a fancy schmancy event. I went in a tux with no shoulders and lashings of virginity. And when we arrived, everyone was given a glass of Pimm's. But the guy making the Pimm's didn't know what the ratios were supposed to be. Pimm's is supposed to be served in a tall, thin glass with like this much Pimm's and this much lemonade. But these were being served in pint glasses with this much Pimm's and this much lemonade. Safe to say, we started getting very merry. Everyone at this party was given 1 turbo Pimm's, but there were 5 left over. And all 5 of us that got a second one were eventually escorted off the premises. We were then taken to what I thought was going to be dinner, but it turned out to be a light snack. So on an empty stomach and 2 Uber Pimm's, I was then offered a bottle of rosé, which I shared with one other person. At this stage, one of the other Pimm's casualties was fireman lifted out by their dad. And apparently I just started heckling grown adults, making fun of how short they are. And then we were taken to a room where there was a DJ. If I'd gone home at this point, I reckon I just would have felt awful. But then somebody gave me more wine, and then a bunch of people encouraged me to start dancing. And the DJ played the Macarena. I'm not awful at dancing, but at this stage of drinking, I'd become as dense as plutonium. Apparently plutonium is dense, I googled it. So... Oh no. In the Macarena there is a jump, so I left the ground and went up in the air, and when I came back down, I landed on a girl's foot. I broke a girl's foot doing the Macarena. Broke a girl's foot doing the Macarena. I broke a girl's foot doing the Macarena. Broke a girl's foot doing the Macarena. Did you know that the lyrics of the Macarena are about cheating on your boyfriend whilst he's away with the army? Broke a girl's foot doing the Macarena. Hey, so I was collected by my parents. I went home. I woke up the next day feeling like bollocks. And I went in to see my mum and I said, "Oh, I'm very sorry." And she said, "I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed." Oh no. And I said, "Phew, that's a relief." Because anger is worse than disappointment. Anger is worse than disappointment. No murderer has ever been caught and it was like, "Why did you do it?" "Oh, I couldn't think straight. I was disappointed." Nicolas Cage is not in a film called Drive Disappointed. The Incredible Hulk never said, "You wouldn't like me when I'm disappointed." Anger leads to violence and destruction, but disappointment just leads to moping and pick-me-up wanks. People who say, "I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed," tend to follow it up with like, "Oh, I just expected more." Well, go fuck yourself. They're basically setting a precedent for not making mistakes. And how the fuck do you learn without mistakes? People hide important shit from friends and family to stop disappointing them, or just beat themselves up immensely. I would argue that thinking that disappointment is worse than anger has led to quite a few mental health issues, and I basically think the phrase "I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed" can fuck right off. This isn't levelled at my mother, by the way. If my mother somehow sees this. And if the girl whose foot I broke sees this, I'm fucking well sorry. I bought her chocolates and grovelled at the time. Anyway, the 2 things I think you should take away from this are: make Pimm's at the correct ratios, and don't be afraid to disappoint people. Here's a song about a film.
This is the plot of Terminator from the perspective of John Connor.
Spoiler warning. This song will spoil the plot of Terminator and your opinion of David Hoare.
I need you to go back in time and fuck my mum. Please go back in time and fuck my mum. I need you to go back in time and fuck my mum. Please go back in time and fuck my mum. Dad, go back in time and make love to my mum. Leave it inside, don't put it in a bum. I need you to go back in time and fuck my mum. Please go back in time and fuck my mum. Dad, go back in time and fuck my mum. Go back in time and fuck my mum. Go back in time and fuck my mum. Here's a photo to get you going. I promise you my mother is actually proud of me. I've got nothing particular to promote, but check out all the links in the description for things that I do. Twitch streams, musical comedy albums, beats albums, all sorts of gubbins. I think that's enough for now. I'll see you later.
Please like, comment and subscribe so I can tell my mum that I'm not a failure. Please like, comment and subscribe and share it with a friend.